we have a Nigerian who wants to tell us who has written about the history of football in Nigeria. Some people call Clement of Dutch-Gerian. I'm sorry, but I got it right. Okay, but he was not born in Nigeria. He didn't grow up in Nigeria. Why were by here? You're a Nigerian.
Thank you. That's an honor. Yes.
Okay. Why do you say you're a Nigerian?
I was born in Nigeria. I was born in Jos, and I basically grew up completely in Nigeria all the way through secondary school. I even went to University of Jos for 1 year. I eventually left to go to further studies up to my PhD in the United States. I then worked in Mauritania and then Kenya, and then in 2010 I came back to Nigeria. So I've spent maybe 70% of my life here.
Okay, you were born in Nigeria?
Yes.
Okay, okay. I wouldn't say, because normally when children are born in Nigeria, you know these midwives, they their placenta. Okay, that is the issue is you want to talk about, we're talking about the history of football in Nigeria. To your recollection, when did we start playing football in Nigeria?
Yes, so it's unclear the exact date we started, but the first recorded football match in Nigeria was June 1904.
June 1904.
So 115 years ago.
115 years ago.
In Calabar.
In Calabar.
Yes.
Okay.
And it was a match between students from Hope Waddell Training Institution, which is one of the oldest secondary schools in Nigeria, and members of a crew from a British ship that had docked in Calabar. And actually, the first game, it was the Nigerian students who beat them.
Wow.
So based on that, we would assume that if they could already beat sailors, they probably had been playing for a while. It's just that was the first game that was actually written down.
And that was in June 1904.
Yes.
All right. Was it Zikawolo who was born in 1904? I know one of them was born in 1904. I don't know what it was. Who is this?
That's Etim Henshaw.
That is Etim Henshaw.
The first captain of what we used to call, it was the national team then, it was the Red Devils.
Okay.
And he was the captain who led Nigeria to the tour of England in 1949.
The tourist.
Yeah, the tourist. He was also from Hope Waddell Training Institution.
Okay.
In the same place. While I was doing my research, I actually had the honor of meeting him.
Oh, you met him?
Before he passed away. It was amazing.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. You have this Nigeria 1904. You were not born in 1904, actually.
No.
So you would have witnessed this. So yes. How did you come about this? I mean, or this facts, this information that you have?
Well, this book actually, the book I wrote on the history of football in Nigeria actually came out of my doctoral research from Yale University.
Yale University in the USA?
In the US, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry,
they were playing barefooted.
Well, yeah, that's something interesting, because this is actually the feat of Justin Onwudiwe.
Justin Onwudiwe.
From Enugu. Before Enugu Rangers, he was the big star of Enugu football from the 1940s.
Okay.
But these guys were all civil servants. They all worked for the Marine, for the railway, for the Post and Telegraphs or whatever. And during the day, they were civil servants. They went to work. They had their shoes on. And then when it was time to play football, they took their shoes off to play. So it's not that, they were sort of, village guys who didn't wear shoes. They just felt that they had better control without shoes.
Oh, they have shoes. You're talking about how you went about gathering this information. You were doing your doctorate in Yale.
Yes.
Yeah, you did at Yale.
Yes.
And then, so how come you were gathering information in Yale? And then not in information information not available in Nigeria? Right. What information do you have there that would not have?
Yeah. So let me take a step back. So the professor at Yale who actually inspired me to write on Nigerian football was Professor Lamin Sane, who's from Gambia. He passed away 2 weeks ago, so I just wanted to call that out. So he was an amazing professor who inspired me to write this story. So basically, I started at Yale. That's where I was in university. I went to the archives there and basically spent time looking through, on microfilm there, they had every single Nigerian newspaper, every page from 1860. And so I looked at every page of every.
Can you repeat that again?
From 1860.
They have every information.
Yes.
On Nigerian newspaper, every page.
Yes, from 1860.
From 1860 is there.
So I looked at every page from 1860 to 1960, so that I could actually trace the evolution of when football started to get mentioned, how it grew, how it expanded, what parts of the country it was played in. So that's where I started. Then I went to Oxford University in the UK. There's an archive there called Rhodes House Archive, where they have all of the papers of the former colonial officials. And so you can go there and you can read the letters they sent home, the diaries they took, sort of the things that they wrote about outside of the office. And so you would hear about, the polo games they played, the cricket they played. Not very many of those guys actually played football. But then the most important part of the research, obviously, was what I was able to do here. And in Nigeria, we have actually amazing national archives. So the headquarters of the National Archives is here in Lagos. And then there's one in Enugu, there's one in Kaduna, and one in Ibadan, all the old regional capitals. And in these archives, there are amazing records that date throughout, all the way to the beginning of the colonial period. So every district, which is like local governments now, every province, which is like states now, there's monthly reports that tell you exactly what happened in that location, that month, at that time. So I went all over the country to these archives and found all of these reports. And you were able to now trace, again, the story of how football evolved. Then there's also Nigerian regimental archives, the army archives in Zaria, which were also amazing. So all these records are out there. We just don't use them.
And they are still intact?
Well, you know, I actually did the research 15 years ago. So at that time, they were intact. And in fact, when I would go there, the archivists were so excited because almost nobody ever came to look at them. So I do hope that learning from this, anyone who's interested in Nigerian history of any topic, basically, actually goes to those archives.
All right. Oh, you have a caller from Jos.
From Jos. All right.
Hello.
Hello, King.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, gentlemen in the studio and my fellow Jos products. You are welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
In Awuni, I hope you understand Hausa.
In Hausa, dole ne.
In Awuni.
Lafiya lau sanu.
Yeah, aiki sannu.
To da godiya.
So, one of these days you write about Plateau United.
No, you know, I wrote about Jos football in the book. There's a lot on Jos football. Because that was actually probably the leading city in the north in terms of football development in the colonial times. So it's definitely in the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it might be before your time. So maybe when you want to, it's not Plateau United. It's about Jos, the evolution of Jos.
It was the Plateau 11 at the time. Yeah.
Okay. Ken, I want to talk about this Plateau United sanction.
Yes.
You know, this sanction, I don't believe in this. It's not stiff enough. They should have given them. I want anything that behaves in such. Why will you go and beat up a referee? Anything that behaves in such a way, 9 points should be deducted from them. Let them not be banished to anywhere. Let them stay in their place and play, but closed door. Let them play indoor.
Exactly.
For 3 matches.
Yeah.
Then 1 million naira for the referee they battered and 5 million naira fine. You will see this thing will stop. This kind of small this thing they gave them, I don't like it. It will encourage it the more. So that's what I want, is stiffer punishment that will make them anytime. You know, this is what is making the referees not to blow the match.
Exactly. They fear, they're afraid for their lives.
Yes, and you know, security. I don't know how the security are not normally enough in stadium. You get me? So I want a stiffer something that will make them to sit up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, man. Thank you very much.